is we get to an NFL Combine reaction because the Combine was this past week in Indianapolis. And Kaz, as a high school track coach, I know that there was something specifically that you wanted to say regarding the Combine.
Yeah, so who was it? Xavier Worthy breaking the 40-yard dash record at 4.21. I don't think that people understand how fast. Matter of fact, I know people understand how fast. Not even just a sub 4.3, sub meaning going below 4.3. That man is pushing into the sub 4.2. It's right there. Now, because it's 40 yards, the shorter the distance, how to explain this? So the shorter the distance, the harder it is to run faster because you don't have as much you don't have as much time. So in order to get from a 4.21 to like maybe like a 4.19, that's only 0.2 of a second. That's a mile. It's a mile because you're not running that far. But the fact that these athletes continue to just get better and better and better and faster and stronger, and it's insane. That record by John Ross just got broken, and that record was done in 2017. That was what, 7 years ago, right? 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
so
time flies.
Time does fly. But like looking at it from like a track and field coach perspective, I want people to understand like that is blazing fast. But when you compare football speed to track speed, it is still night and day difference because a guy by the name of Christian Coleman has ran, I believe it's 4.12. He's he's probably the best starter on the planet. Let me look at it real quick. I got it right here. I know I had it up.
So he's a baseball player?
No, he's an Olympian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Christian Coleman ran a 4.12 official 40-yard, and he claimed to be going 85%. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe he went 85%. But the fact of the matter is that is destroying Xavier Worthy and anybody, and I mean by a lot. But what I will say is this: for those of you who think that, a guy like Christian Coleman is like, you think like, why don't you go to the NFL? Like, I'm saying, you'd be amazing. I mean, you destroy the NFL record in the 40 time. Football speed and track speed is different. When you put the pads on, you put the helmets on, and it comes to not just running linear, which is, from point A to point B, but you have to also be agile. It is a night and day difference. Guys that are track and field athletes do not and cannot, and more often than not, will not make it in the NFL. We had a couple guys like that were really fast, like Jaevon Best. He had the concussion problem. He got concussions in college at UC. I think he's at Cal, right?
Cal, yeah.
Cal. He had the same issue with Detroit Lions. Then he ended up actually going on to be an Olympian after his NFL career was cut short. Percy Harvin was another guy. It's just crazy to just sit back and watch these guys continue to break these records, and not even just like the fast guys. Seeing these linemen, I mean, like, how are you 300 plus pounds running? Running as fast as me? I'm 180 pounds, and I'm older now, but I'm 180 pounds, and like I'm a former track athlete. You're tripling my body. You're 2.5 times my size. Yeah. Running as fast as I am. It is just crazy to witness. I advise anybody who, and I'm going to try my best to focus more on it too, but I advise anybody to seriously to take a look at, just watch the combine carefully and really think about what these guys are doing, because it's going to get broken again. Just like all these high school kids that are out there doing these. I mean, you got kids in layup lines now in 5th grade doing windmills and East Bay dunks. Where does this come? We're watching evolution happen right before our eyes. So just think about what we're about to witness. We're going to see it. We will see a sub 4.240 here within the next 5 years. I guarantee it. We're going to see a 4.19 official time. I guarantee it. These guys are freaks of nature, and I didn't really watch a lot of the combine for like, who we're going to draft, things like that, because I don't follow college that much. You guys know that. I don't have a favorite team. I kind of wait for the draft to come around, just kind of see what happens. And then I usually do my research, later on, where I ask some friends about like, hey, like, who's this guy? Apparently the Eagles might go ahead and get this guy. Who is this guy? So I don't really pay too much attention to it, but I catch it and I, watch the 40, watch the bench press, whatever. And that's about it. But I did notice that there's a lot of DBs and a lot of wide receivers coming out of this draft that are freaks of nature. So if your team is one, you got a high end draft pick and you get one of these DBs or these wide receivers, you're going to be sitting pretty. I mean, that's pretty much it. But yeah, these guys are fast. We're going to continue to watch the NFL get faster and faster. And with that, you're going to see players in get smaller and smaller. We've already seen it the past 15 years with linebackers. You got no more Ray Lewis's, no more Brian Urlachers, guys like that. They're done. They wouldn't hang in today's league. It's going to continue on. It's going to be a very fast and agile league moving forward. And we might see more guys like Jason Kelce where it's like, you're an undersized center. That undersized center, it might become the new norm because they're going to be fast as hell, along with tackles, along with guards, and everybody else. So just be on the lookout for all these fast guys coming out of the draft in future years, because the league is going to be changing before our eyes within the next 5 years. I guarantee it.
Wait, Kaz, so you're saying that even though you live in Iowa, you don't want to be a fan of the Hawkeyes football team that can only score 9 points a game?
Oh my God.
I cheer them on for my guys. Remember, I'm Illinois born and raised.
Gotcha.
Illinois, but
Illini.
I've been a pro fan for a long time, and I just never got deep into college. But I do find myself at times like, oh, I was playing. I'll put a little black and gold on. Why not,
Clark.
Caitlin Clark, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'll cheer for Caitlin Clark. But yeah, it's just never been my cup of tea, but I do enjoy it though. I do enjoy it. But I do want to say for my chat real quick, one of my guys who's a huge college fan, his name is Jaron US, and he's also Eagles fan as well. He said, I think that the issue is that teams like to double take on combine speed, like they're boost a player's stock after already knowing what was super fast. Like Cooper DeJean, for example. So, I mean, again, there's a lot of things to look forward to when it comes to like the 40-yard dash. I mean, because it's not everything, but it's something that it's in the combine for a reason. So it's relevant. Yeah, it really is. So, like I said, just to conclude my little spiel on this, just be on the lookout for the league to just change a lot more. I think we're going to continue to get smaller and smaller size-wise and just faster and faster because speed kills. That's what the old saying goes. So.
Well, Toddy, you have been waiting a very long time for this NFL Combine because apparently, according to Jaevon Toddy, as of about at least a year, maybe 2 years, Caleb Williams has been a top 15 quarterback in the NFL for already 2 years. So now I don't think, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Caleb Williams really participated in the Combine other than just talking. But he had his back and forth with Jerry Rice's son, his teammate at USC. that was pretty cool. And so just Toddy, what did you think about the NFL Combine? And how did you feel about guys like Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. deciding not to participate in it?
So I think both of those guys, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., are going to have pro days and kind of just but
they can do both.
I think Jaden Daniels is also going to do his pro day too. So I think for the reason why guys like that do pro days instead of going to the combine, they feel like they can control a lot of, it's more of a controlled environment. Whatever throws or routes that they want to run, that they're going to run, they're comfortable with whoever's going to be there in their respective settings. So also heard a story about, or saw a story about Marvin Harrison Jr. and he met with I think he met with like a couple of teams at the combine, and he was basically, asking them like, is there anything that you guys want to see like from me at all? And they were like, nah, you're good. So, I mean, I feel like the best thing is that you can provide as an athlete, going to the draft is obviously the tape. If your tape is, up to par, you really don't have to go to the combine. And I feel like we're going to start seeing that from, a bunch of these top picks, whether it's quarterbacks like Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. All of them are considered to be the top, 3 best guys, and none of them threw at the combine. So for, those guys that are probably going to go later in the rounds, guys that are kind of on the bubble, like we saw Michael Penix throw, JJ McCarthy threw, and then you just see, kind of quarterbacks are going to go into the later rounds, like day 2, day 3 guys. And guys that run the 40 as well. So even like Roma Dunze, I thought he is considered to be like a lottery. Well, he's not a lottery pick. They don't do that in football, but he's going to be like a top like 10, 12 pick. He ran like a 4 or 5. Like he didn't hurt his draft stock at all. I don't think. I thought he performed rather well. And you got guys like Xavier Worthy. Just a tangent on Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell, the other, I wouldn't even call him the other receiver, but those guys, they were like dudes at Texas. Both of them ran sub 4.4s. Like 80 Mitchell ran 4.3. And then Xavier Worthy comes and runs a 4.21, which is insane. So both guys pretty fast. But I think both of those guys, I thought both of them would have been like, I think they're first round talents, but it's like this like draft class for receivers is very, very rich. It's very, very top heavy. So once you kind of start going down the line on the receivers, it's like, okay, like, yeah, but when you start going to team need, it's like, do we need like another receiver? And when you're in those later rounds for those guys, they could probably end up getting drafted to a very solid team that may or may need speed on the outside. And I did see kind of before that, Xavier Worthy kind of exploded at the combine. The Niners were talking to him. He was one of the guys that the Niners met, and I was like, oh, that's it's pretty interesting. So, and I've even just going back to just college football and our coverage on college football throughout the year. He's kind of been a guy that I've been talking about, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell. Those two guys I've mentioned quite a few times on the podcast before. So, I think it's a very rich draft class. Like there's even another guy that I'm kind of interested in, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, who I think is probably going to be a second round type draft pick, just based off of all the guys that are already there. I thought he had a really good combine as well. Kool-Aid McKinstry is another guy I'm very, very interested in. The Alabama defensive back. I think he could play DB for us, and then we can move Diamador Lenore into the slot. A very athletic guy. Just seems like he just has a nose for the ball and just knows where the ball is going to be. But I have been seeing that a lot of draft classes or mock drafts would have us drafting an offensive lineman. I'm like, we can get an offensive lineman in the second round, or we can go out and get a guy, because I'm seeing a lot of linemen getting released, if I'm not mistaken. So there's probably going to be a bunch of linemen in free agency, and we might just go that route. But this, because we haven't had a first round pick like 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. So basically, this is Trey Lance. We haven't had a first round.
Thanks, Trey Lance.
So now people are going to say, well, you might have a top 15 pick because you're going to trade IU. That's also fair as well. But I do think that the Niners will probably end up re-signing Brandon Ayuk, and we'll probably
That's a good point, though. It's a good point, though, because it makes me think back to the DeForest Buckner trade, where like they had to pay Buckner, they chose not to. They traded him to the Colts. They got a top 15 pick or whatever, and then literally drafted his replacement in Jaevon Kinlaw, who's been a bit of a bust until this year when Jaevon Kinlaw finally started to make an impact and avoided injuries and was no longer on Instagram Live, only talking to Grant Cohn about his nuts.
Yeah, but I just think this combine was, fairly interesting. We haven't had any trades yet. I think when we traded up, it was like we traded up pretty early. So it was like there was like a month. It was like a month out from the draft.
Yeah, but like still around the end of March versus now we're at the beginning of March.
Right. So a lot of moving parts here. So, like we already talked about previously in the podcast, quarterbacks are pretty top heavy in this draft, and kind of what happens in free agency is going to determine a lot of other moving parts on which direction teams are going to go based off of this free agency. And some people might even wait on draft night too. They might take it all the way down that way just to see, where they will stand and what their team's going to do. Like once upon a time, I thought the Niners were going to trade for Aaron Rodgers on draft night for the number 3 overall pick.
What a day! What a day!
That story came out. I think it was like the day of the draft, and I was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. I remember watching NFL Live and just watching shit hit the fan.
And then Aaron Rodgers was like, "Yeah, I thought I was going to the Niners," and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then we're like, "No, we got Trey Lance," and obviously we saw where that went, but that's neither here nor there. But Kaz, is there a guy that you're kind of in love with in the draft, or is there somebody? Is there like a dream scenario, something that you guys, that Eagle fans want to draft, or is there anybody that you guys are kind of eyeing, either whether it's free agency or is it in the draft?
Yeah, actually, so you like I mentioned already, you guys know I'm not the most knowledgeable in college, but I was just messaging or tweeting at my guy Ian on Twitter. He's actually matter of fact, he's gonna talk for me right now. He's in my chat right now. So he says Eagles trying to trade for a number 2 overall to get Zach Wilson. Laugh my ass off. We tried that.
No way.
And then,
there's no way you guys tried to do that. It's crazy.
And then my boy Hedrick, he says like I said, I know him in real life. He's like I said, like you said, I don't think non-athletes understand how freaky these guys are nowadays, which is facts. But Ian says Quinyon Mitchell is who we need to go for.
Quinyon
so Mitchell. yeah. Is it Quinyon? Is that how you say it? Quinyon?
Yeah. He's a baller.
So I actually, like I told you, I don't know much about college guys. I kind of wait and see, and then usually when they get drafted, I'm like, all right, who the hell is this guy? Let me look at some tape real quick, because it's like when
I'm
Howie,
that guy.
Yeah, when Howie makes a decision on who we drafted, I don't care who. I mean,
he's like a bigger DB. He's like 6'3". He's from Toledo.
Yeah,
they're trying to kind of compare him to Richard Sherman.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, whoever Howie's gonna draft, he's gonna draft. I'll find out what I need to know about these guys. I got a good 3.5, 4 months, or not even that, about 3.5 months for the season starts. I got that much time to look at film and find out who the hell this guy is. So
preseason, you get to see all that, and OTAs and all that shit.
Yeah. So I just know that we need to attack the secondary. Just make it make sense. So I don't really know who exactly, by name, but I know.
No?
Shit. What are we like? What are we picking?
Probably like 25, 26.
Yeah, I'll say we mid-20s somewhere. After this season, bro, you think I've been paying attention? You think I cared about anything? I knew he wasn't top 10 pick. That's all I knew.
22.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's better than we thought. 22.
Yeah, 22. So anyways, I was like, yo, give me a stud corner, dog, please. And if you're not gonna do that, either if there's a linebacker that exists that's phenomenal, get him. And if not,
he might be gone by the time.
That's what I'm saying. If not,
he's the dude that ran like 4.4, the linebacker from Penn State.
Yeah, I think I saw that clip. If not, get the best safety available. That's all I care about, because we can't do this shit that we've been doing this all season long without DBs, dog. We're it's not looking good, and we need them. So that's what I said to my boy Ian on Twitter, and that's when he's like, "Nah, man, we need to go get this guy if he's available." So, and then I know he's gonna do a mock draft here soon, and I'm gonna link up with him, and he's gonna kind of go through some more things, dive in deeper into the Eagles and who we should go for, whatever. But I just want a DB. Give me a DB, make it make sense. I'm an eye test guy. I need to see it in the league first. I can care less about combine and because I've gone through that. We drafted fucking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, okay? Because he was supposed to be this guy and all this shit. And I'm like, that's why I can't follow this shit, man. I can't get all high and mighty on this draft shit when I have had time after time again as an Eagles fan. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
I had no idea who Jalen Reagor was, by the way.
Who the hell is JJ Arcega-Whiteside? Who the fuck is he? Apparently he's better than DK Metcalf because we passed him on DK and got him. You see, I can't. So I think that if the Eagles drafted better, saying like, by the masses, we got some guys, we got like Jason Kelce and things like. I'm talking like top draft picks.
Y'all drafted Devontae Smith, the highest
and that's probably about the only, and that's about the only one I can say right now. I'm like, yes, yes. Devontae Smith panned out, thank God, because you know what, Jordan Davis, he's great and all, but I mean, we got Jalen Carter obviously too as well. You know what I'm saying? We can't count that guy out, but like we got Jordan Davis at like what?
That was 13 a steal though.
Yeah, at like pick number 13 or whatever, something like that. If I can't really remember exactly, but whatever. And I'm like, okay, Jordan Davis, big ass dude from Georgia, this got to work out, and he's been solid. That's being general. He's been solid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can't get excited for stuff like the draft as an Eagles fan. I need to see it first. So I always ask my homies that watch college, like, yo, like, who the hell is this guy? So all I know is Philadelphia, go out there, get the best goddamn cornerback that's remaining, because James Bradbury, he ain't it. Avonte Maddox, we need for that guy to stay healthy. We got young guys like who we got? We got Ringo, we got Eli Ricks. These guys can find a solid spot on the team, but it's like we need a for sure stud, because if we don't get a for sure stud,
corners, Quinyon Mitchell, like your boy was saying, is really good. There's this white dude from
Iowa. Yeah, Iowa. Everybody around here go crazy about him. They all love him. They nuts about him.
He's projected to be the #1 corner off the board.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, that's crazy, bro. Hey, that happens. If that happens, I gotta see homie play, bro, in the league, man.
And then there's this guy, Nate Wiggins. He ran like a sub 4.4 at the combine. He's the Clemson DB. He's pretty good too.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So DeGene Cooper is the white guy. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's who. Okay, that's who he wanted. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he returns punts too.
Okay. But yeah, so all I know is everybody around here, I hear it at the school I coach at because they're all Iowa crazy. I hear it everywhere. It's like, this guy is going to be the one, the great white hope to go into the league and shut all the narratives down about white cornerbacks. I'm like, I want to see it. I would love to. I love anarchy. I want to see it. I'm here for it. So as long as Philadelphia gets a stud corner and make it make sense, I'm happy there. So that's all I'm looking forward to.
Man, it's hilarious to me that
Shaun, is there anybody that you're interested in that you're kind of looking at that you're like, hey, I kind of want this guy, or is it you're kind of just hoping for the best?
I'm hoping for the best. I'm in the same boat as Kaz. Thank you for asking, but I'm in the same boat as Kaz where I learned on a much smaller scale with the NBA and the Sacramento Kings being in the draft lottery year after year after year for like a solid 10 years straight. I was invested in every single prospect that could be anywhere near the Kings picking. And I would learn about all these guys. I'd get my hopes up for some of these guys. And then the 49ers just wouldn't, or the Kings just wouldn't pick them. And then they'd go off somewhere else. And then I'd either see them succeed elsewhere and just think like Rakeem is thinking with the Eagles, where Rakeem says the amount of talent that could have been on this team if Howie drafted right. Like, that's how I felt about the Kings for so many years, whether if it be basically everyone in the Warriors' big three with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all the great players that the Kings passed on. And I wasn't a guy who was locked in on Giannis Antetokounmpo when he was in the draft. I'm not Mr. Basketball Mind over here. But the point is that for so many years, I invested so much time and energy into these prospects, all for the Kings to ultimately not pick who I wanted. And I did that with the 49ers as well. Like, I have definitive memories to 2016 thinking that the 49ers could draft Jared Goff at number 7. Then he ends up going, the hype train builds up. He ends up going number 1 to the Rams. 49ers get Eric Armstead at number 7, which I ultimately loved because he's the guy from Sacramento. And he does so many great things for our community and also for the 49ers. But yeah, I'm just hoping for the best. We'll see what happens when it comes to the draft. I'm the ultimate casual right now, but do you have other guys that really are standing out to you, Toddy, that you hope the Niners could land at 31?
Yeah, like I was saying, so Kool-Aid McKinstry was a guy, the DB from Alabama. They have another DB out, Terrion Arnold, who I thought both corners are probably going to go top 20 in my opinion.
Well, that was the main question that I wanted to follow up with, because I know that you're talking about guys that you like, but who realistically might be available for the Niners at 31?
Xavier Worthy's a guy, even though he ran a 4.21, he's still a guy that could be available late first, because we're the second to last pick, as Marcellus, who fresh off of his trip. But this guy just went to Greece, by the way, so he's fresh. He's living like a European basketball player, but that's neither
jet lag and everything. But Marcellus made it.
But I like I said, Kool-Aid McKinstry. I like Xavier Worthy. Troy Franklin out of Oregon is another guy who I was kind of looking at. I think can be a guy for us. I saw Joe Alt could be a guy. I think he's the Notre Dame tackle that I saw could be a guy for us. I kind of want to get a DB or a receiver. That's who I think we need.
I want a receiver.
I think we need speed on the outside. Whether we
can't pay everyone, so that's why I want another receiver. As much as I love BA, like maybe they find a way to make it work, but eventually you can't pay.
We're still not paying Brock anything. That's why I feel like we could get another receiver.
That's true.
AI.
That's true.
But I feel like I would not be. I kind of want Kool-Aid McKinstry. I kind of want him out of Alabama, just so we can have another corner on the outside. Like I know Diamador Lenore played well, but I feel like that could kind of like solidify our secondary. Have him on the outside and have Demo play slot, or be our nickel corner. So yeah, that's kind of either a receiver or a corner. To be honest, I feel like we should draft, but I feel like we're going to get a couple of gems in this draft, like in the second and third round, because we're kind of notorious for getting guys like that.
John Lynch is good at that.
In the third, fourth, fifth round, like those second, third day picks end up, like Jaevon Jennings, the 7th round pick.
Right. Third and Jaevon.
Brock Purdy, 7th, last pick of the draft. Like,
shit, Jaevon Jennings might be y'all best wide receiver, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So, we're not.
All right. Well. Yeah. Well, I guess we just heard Kaz's final thoughts as we get out of here for episode number 84 of Stats Over Politics. Make sure to give us a like on YouTube. It helps us a lot. And if you enjoy the podcast, hit subscribe to get notifications when we go live. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Stats Over Politics and on X at Stats Over Politics. See all the great content Kevin's putting out there. And make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on all podcast platforms. And if you're enjoying the podcast,